Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com.
May one visit the grave of a parent after the absence of several years that he has not been there? So many of us have heard of this concept that if you don't visit your parent's grave for a certain amount of time, then you're no longer allowed to visit it anymore. And because of this, many are particular every year or every few years to make sure to visit their parent's grave in order not to enter into this problem. What we will discuss today is what is the source behind this concept? How many years actually is it of absence? Are there any ways to circumvent the issue and still be allowed to visit the grave even if this amount of years have passed? And how severe is it? So interestingly, we actually do not find in the Talmud or Rishonim or even the codifiers of the Shulchan Aruch any mention made against visiting a grave of a parent after an absence of any years. And you're allowed to visit whenever you want. Nonetheless, it is customary amongst many Yidden to follow that if they do not visit the grave of a parent within 7 years, then they no longer visit it again. And the reason for this is because once this amount of time has passed and one hasn't visited the parent, we worry that perhaps there will be a kpeda, that the parent's neshama, when you visit him, will have some bad feeling towards the child who hasn't visited him for so long. And this can cause a kitrug, a persecution above against the child. And therefore, due to this danger, people are accustomed not to visit after the amount of 7 years passing. This minhag is recorded in various achreinim, poskim in the previous generation. The Sefer Tirsh V'Yitzad Udoi Sada Mishmer Shalim, Arachis Hey 132, the Maram Brisk in Tshuva 44, Afrosakta Da'anya 168 in the name of the Divrei Chayim, Yisayris Tshuva, the Gesher Chayim, and other svarim of the previous generation. Now, some of these svarim mention that in truth one only has to be careful after the absence of 10 years and not 7. Other poskim will record this custom completely negate it and argue and say that it is permitted to visit a parent's grave even after the absence of many years and there's no need to be worried. So writes this Yisayris Tshuva, the Gesher Chaim, in negation of the custom that they bring, and so writes the Munkacher and Darkei Chaim V'Shalim and other achreinim in negation of the custom. Practically, we have various sources in which the Rebbe discussed this issue, and the following is the Rebbe's final arbitration. The Rebbe's final arbitration is that practically it is permitted to visit the grave of a parent even after the passing of 7 years or many years, as he writes in the Likutei Sichos, volume 20, and in Teres Menachem, volume 3, page 267. Nonetheless, adds the Rebbe, that if 7 years have already passed, then the minhag is not to go visit right away, but to first send a shliach to the grave, which can be done by the gravekeeper, the management of the cemetery, to go to the grave and tell the mace, the deceased, that his child is coming to visit him. This eitzah recorded by the Rebbe is likewise recorded in other poskim, the Tirsh V'Yitzar, Yisayris Tshuva, and others. Likewise, in addition, the child should separate charity in honor of the parent prior to visiting the grave. This is the second advice the Rebbe gives in Siddur in the Likutei Sichos, and likewise recorded in Igros Kodesh, volume 24, page 338. In another letter, the Rebbe advised a woman who had not been to her parent's grave in 7 years to immerse in a mikveh that day before going, and to fix the matzeva and give charity before and afterwards. This minhag and its limitations only applies to the grave of a parent. However, a grave of a grandparent or other relative may be visited even initially after many years of absence, and there's no need to send a messenger or do any of the things we mentioned. So to summarize, although some are accustomed not to visit the grave of their parent after a 7-year absence, practically it is permitted to do so. However, it is proper for one to first send a messenger to notify the parent of his arrival and to give charity prior to the visitation in the event that 7 years have passed.
Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at www.Shulchanaruchharav.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.